Good day, friends. Thank you for joining me again. Today's sitting, we will focus on the breath. For those of you who are familiar, or for those of you who aren't familiar with my typical meditation style, this is much more in line with traditionally what I practice and what I guide. It is referred to sometimes as mindfulness meditation. The notion is that we use a field of focus or a point of focus. In this case, it will be aspects of the breath. We will sit with sensations of the breath for our time together. And as distractions come up for us, thoughts, feelings, sensations in the body, emotions, emotional tones, when it becomes apparent to us that those thoughts are present for us, and that our awareness has wandered away from the breath, we simply allow that distraction, for lack of a better word, to be there, and we come back to the breath again. That's the practice. We'll do that again and again and again, as many times as we can, as many times as we're presented with the distractions. This technique is also has a lot of evidence of scientific benefit. And if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. We're really practicing and training ourselves to be more attuned to when distractions come up in our lives, and to be empowered to make the choice to either sort of go down that path of distraction or to stay with what our chosen point of focus is, whether that be in meditation, our breath, or our work, or a conversation with a friend or a loved one. I don't think this practice... I've heard some say that they fear this will diminish our abilities to allow our mind to wander, to have daydreams. And I also would not worry about that. This practice is not meant to replace daydreaming. I think if we are in a place where we have the luxury of setting aside time to daydream, that being able to focus on positive and constructive things as we daydream will be even more rewarding than, oh, did I leave the iron on? Oh, did I say the wrong thing to that person? Etc., etc. And this practice is not meant to stop you from hearing and honoring those distracting thoughts. There's a reason they exist in our brains and in our lives. In the time that our species evolved, it's still evolving, let's be fair. Being able to heed a distraction very much helped us survive as a species. And that is, for those of us who are part of the entertainment industry, extremely important. Be able to process and handle new information as it comes in. I think all we're doing is making that process conscious rather than unconscious. We're just shining the light on it briefly. So, enough talking about meditation. Let's hit the cushion, as it were. Finding yourself in a comfortable seated posture. If you're sitting in a chair, maybe scooting a little bit forward in the chair so your back can't easily rest on the backrest, unless that's the best comfortable posture for you, in which case, go right ahead. If you're sitting in that style, exploring bringing your weight forward and backward, trying to balance the weight between your feet on the floor, and your sitting bones on the chair. If you're kneeling or sitting cross-legged on a cushion, trying to feel equal pressure in all parts of your body as you sit. If you're sitting cross-legged, there's an inherent asymmetry to what your hips and what your legs are doing. And that's fine. There's nothing to be done about that. So maybe even with that asymmetry, questioning what you can do with your posture to bring a sense of equal weight into your foundation. Whether that be moving the stuffing of a cushion a little bit more towards one sitting bone or the other, moving your weight, shifting your legs a little bit. And know that if you become discomfortable in this sitting, that you can move. You don't have to stay still. If you do choose to move, though, try and do it with every ounce of your consciousness. Really feel what that moving is like. See if you can't devote all of your awareness to that brief moment of change. Each moment striving as we change to foster a practice of being able to hold still. And it is a practice. Stillness is a practice. It's not something that's spoken about or rewarded in our culture often. So just playing with it, knowing that it's a practice, knowing that it will improve and that you'll have good days and bad. If you're comfortable with it, closing your eyes with me, or allowing your gaze to soften, feeling into the weight of your body as you sit, feeling yourself being held by the earth, feeling the pressure, the connection of your body to the earth. Feeling your palms, and maybe perhaps your forearms as they rest in the arms of the chair or on your thighs or your knees. In whatever position you've chosen for them in this moment. Moving the focus of your awareness now up to your pelvis, playing with its tilt forward and back, side to side, establishing both a solid foundation from which you may be able to sit for a little while now, and from which the spine grows comfortably up and out. Tracing the curve, the natural and comfortable curvature of the spine, sitting tall to your neck and shoulders, perhaps playing with the shoulders melting down the back, top of the chest and the collarbones widen, perhaps tilt slightly upward. Don't let this upward tilt of the chest have adverse sensations in the lower spine. Be sure to preserve a moderate curvature to the spine, something not extreme. Moving up to the neck, finding a natural, balanced, tall and strong posture for the neck. Perhaps tilting the head ever so slightly forward to allow space in the back of the neck, the back of the head, and the skull. Releasing any pressure, any tension, any muscular holding in the body that you may at this time. And and in the jaw, allowing the jaw to release, perhaps bringing a gentle, intentional gap between the upper and lower teeth, relieving that clenching as much as you can right now. Scanning the face, the muscles of the face, the eyes and the forehead, muscles around the temples, the muscles of the eyelids, releasing as much holding as is possible while still maintaining a comfortable seat in this moment. Moving the awareness now to the breath, allowing it to settle in the region of the body, of the lungs, the chest cavity. Taking now 3 deep breaths in your own time. Deep inhale, filling every nook and cranny of the lungs, feeling the chest and the torso expanding in every direction, including up and down. And exhaling and contracting the muscles of the core, letting the breath recede, feeling the chest and the torso, the body cavity move in toward the spine. Allow these to be 3 of the most deep, beautiful, intentional breaths of your day, thus far. When you are finished with your 3 breaths, allowing a more natural breath pattern to return to your being in this moment. Now allowing for your awareness to continue to rest on the breath. And as you sit and as you breathe, finding a particular spot or location in the body, a spot where the breath can be felt. Let it be sort of an obvious or a loud spot. Could be a spot in the stomach, in the chest, somewhere in the skin of the torso where you feel the fabric of your clothing move against your skin as your torso changes shape as you inhale and exhale. Could be the feeling of breath in the back of your throat, the sensation of cool movement of air in your sinuses, in your nostrils, the feeling of the air as it passes over your upper lip, or any other place where you feel breath right now. And just for this time, making the choice to observe your breath in this arbitrary, somewhat specific region of the body, allowing the quality of your awareness, of attention, to be specific and focused, zoomed in, the world of the world of micro, to this region of the body, Just watching this inhale as it's felt in this part of the body. Just watching this exhale. A natural part of the practice of sitting and focusing, perhaps for the first time in our lives. In this somewhat quiet, distilled environment. The mind may wander. That thoughts may enter your field of awareness, your focal range. These may be thoughts of the future. They may be big or small, maybe granular things on the checklist. They may be thoughts of the past. They may feel grandiose or minute. They may feel good or bad. They may elicit emotions of joy or regret. They may be very emotionally charged. They may be fairly discreet, tending to the realm of thoughts. They may take the form of commentary or narration. They may, for you, provide a structure, a framework for understanding. Being grateful for the capacity to think. Being grateful for this brain and its miraculous ability to generate thoughts, to excrete thoughts, like any other gland in the body. When these thoughts occur, and when we become aware that we're thinking these thoughts, perhaps that these thoughts have led us off course for the moment, and that our breath has fallen away from our focus. That moment of realization has already brought you back to the breath. This is the practice. This is meditation. The deep, judgmentless acquiring of information about your breath through the senses, through your awareness. Having your awareness momentarily distracted, led away. I sometimes say it's like a lost child or a lost animal that has wandered away from those who care about it, through no fault of its own, it's followed its own passion or delight. And with that same energy that you would extend to a lost child or an animal, gently and lovingly guiding the awareness back again and again to the sensation of breath in this moment. Now that we've been sitting for some time with this intentionally specific or restricted field of focus, allowing now for a relaxation of the intensity of this holding focus. Pulling back, zooming out, allowing the object of your awareness to be any and all sensations of the breath that may occur within your field. These can still contain the specific area you chose earlier, where you felt the breath intensely or vividly. It may also include any and all other areas of the body where it occurs to you you're breathing. Remember that respiration on the cellular level is happening to us constantly all the time. Remember that we take in and exchange gases through the skin. That we're breathing through our skin. Welcoming in the sensations of the sound of our breath. The air as it moves in, moves out. The sound of it passing in and out of our nostrils or through our skull as it resonates. Just anywhere that the cessation of breath occurs in your consciousness. Being with that, soaking it up, passively absorbing, and observing. any and all senses, the feelings around breath. Choosing in this moment to take on the role, the posture, the vantage point of the observer of what is happening in your body right now. And when in this role it occurs to you that you are thinking, you're having thoughts, that thoughts are part of your experience of this moment. Instead of being critical with yourself, instead of judging yourself for having thoughts, can you expand your field of awareness? Can you make it more vast? Can you expand this vessel of observation to also include the occurrences of thoughts? Tolerating, accepting, welcoming them into this moment. Because they are very much in this moment. Even as you hold space for them, as we say, as you have provided a vessel for them to reside, allow the quality of this to be light. For as your breath comes and goes, so too will these sensations and thoughts, if you allow them to. At the same time that you allow them to coexist with your breath and your awareness, simply steer your awareness back to the breath, back to your observing of the breath. Knowing that these thoughts are not all of you. Knowing that there's so much more to you than these thoughts. I read a quote recently, and I'm paraphrasing slightly, that we are not the one making the thoughts. We are the one observing the thoughts. Especially intense thoughts these days about the future, the election, any of the many crises, tragedies that are facing the world at this time. Seeing them as thoughts, allowing them to be, momentarily inquiring as to what can be learned from these thoughts, rather than chasing these thoughts down to their inevitable conclusions, allowing this awareness to be light, to alight gently on the breath again and again, in this moment. Allowing the breath to deepen, perhaps bringing movement into your fingers and toes, and feet and hands, the spine, the hips, the shoulders. Allowing in your own time for your eyes to open as slowly and gently as you like. May you, all of your loved ones, and everybody that you do and have known and will know, find peace and safety. May they be healthy and ease from discomfort. May they find joy and happiness. Namaste.